Hi and welcome to a VR to Dani Mystic, her hashtag my classics. So this video is on decks that are my classic decks, and there are multiple ways to interpret this, and the way that I interpret it is similar to how Lisa Papaz did hers, and it's the decks that I gravitate towards the most, and I have 5 decks, and then I have 2 honorable mentions that are slowly starting to work up to being my classic decks. A couple of small disclaimers before we get into the video. First one, I am so sick. I was planning on doing this like a headshot video, but I am not feeling well. You can hear it in my voice probably, and I am feeling so sick. But I really wanted to get this video up for you today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a video up today, and I need to do something fun. So that is this. And the second disclaimer is that, oh right, I almost forgot what my second disclaimer was. But it is that I am, so far in this year, I am working through my collection a little bit differently. So I've chosen a set little group of decks, Oracle and Tarot, that I'm going to be using for the entire month. So some of these decks I haven't really used a lot yet this year because they have all gone into my relation, sort of. If you want to know like the tarot decks that I'm using, I'll link the videos in the cards and as well as in the description box of the decks that I used for January, February, and that I'm now using for March. But that makes a little bit more sense as why I have 2 honorable mentions. So let's get in deck number 1, which is, okay, I already dropped it, which is not good because I barely have used it yet this year, because of my relation system and trying to get a use out of other decks. But this is my Dreaming Way Tarot. And it's funny because I feel like the bag that I made for it really suits the images on the cards and not necessarily the backs, because these are the images, really light and airy and dreamy and whimsical, and then these are the backs. I could reback it, but I don't want to. So let's show you the cards. So why this is a classic deck for me is, I don't know, when I first saw this and when this was one of those instant buys. I saw this on a Helping You Say Yes to the Deck video from Lisa Papaz, and I don't know what their name was, but they chose this deck to purchase. And so I looked it up on Amazon and it was only 16 euros. I just vividly remember that number. So I was like, oh my god, yeah, I have to buy it. And then I got it, and the images are so whimsical, and even this one, it's quite harsh. Like that's quite heavy. Like some decks, artists are trying to sort of downplay the severeness of like a tower moment, but this deck fully plays into it, and I really appreciate it. I think I have it upside down. I really appreciated that this is a deck that doesn't cut any corners. This is a deck that tells me how it is. I love the sunflower. Like, this is a beautiful card. If there are any weird jump cuts in this video, it is because I had to sneeze or blow my nose. So let's just continue. This is a deck that when I use it, it gives me the answer that I need. It is sometimes a little bit harsh. It can definitely tell you how it is. Like I said, it doesn't cut any corners, which is funny because the images seem so whimsical and so fun and so cute and nice, and then it's like it punches you in the face with what it wants to tell you. So sort of sneaks up on me in a way. And I have used this deck for some client readings. This is the deck that I used for Aphrodite's reading when he reacted to my reading. I'll put that in the description box below. It was a Twitch stream as well as a YouTube video. So yeah, I really enjoy this deck. After I am done sort of relating, is that a word? It's now relating to through my entire collection, I'm definitely planning on picking this deck up way more often. Let me see. Deck number 2 is this one. This is the White Newman Tarot, and I don't know, this one also sort of snuck up on me because after I've used this in the month of January, and I also used it, there's already titties there. After I used this in my 9 quick and easy tarot spread videos, I did that video. I will link it in the cards in the description box. but I used this and it was so easy to read with, and I've read with it a little bit later as well. And I grabbed this. I think this was one of the decks that I wanted to work with in January. If not, it was, I don't remember. But I love this deck so much, and it's so my aesthetics. I absolutely love it. I love the colors. It's like, again, it feels like gentle artwork or so. I don't know how to describe it. Also, like I said, I'm sick. English is not my first language, but there's just something about this deck that really makes me want to gravitate towards this. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm like, why am I doing the relation thing with my decks? Because I just want to work with this deck. This deck has been so heavy on my mind, like throughout the entire year so far. And I really get intuitive, quick readings with this. I think I did a read. Yeah, I use this deck for a reading for my best friend. It is like a year ahead career and love reading spread for her. We're using this deck, and it was super fun. It was super accurate, and this is like that in between. It doesn't hit too hard, but it's also not super gentle. It definitely tells you what you need to know, but it has like a nice edge with it, with the readings. So yeah, absolutely love this deck. So this is, like I said, one that it's been living in my mind a lot over the last couple of months, and I am super excited to get working with it again after I do my relation. I think I have like maybe 2 more months or something like relation left, at least until I've gone through all of my tarot decks. But yeah, we'll see. The second tarot deck is, let's go through this one, the Tattoo Tarot. And this is definitely one that I have worked with in January, yeah. And this is, I use this deck for client readings as well, because I feel like the images are pretty gentle to look at. Let me get this out of the frame, yeah. The images are pretty gentle to look at. They're not like super heavy or anything, because they're tattoo style. Speaking of tattoos, I got a new tattoo this week. I'll show you a picture on the screen, but I'm super excited about it. Anyway, it doesn't even look close to the tattoo style in this deck, but it's fun anyway. It made me think of it. Anyway, like I said, the images here are gentle. The minor arcana are pips, but they're like special pips in my opinion. Like this 5 of Cups, you can see here an eye crying. So you can see there's some sort of sadness, some sort of grief that is here, some sort of disappointment that is happening here. So I like that you can see that here in the 2 of Cups as well, that there's a little bit extra to the minor arcana, and I feel like that really helps me narrow it down in the readings. So, and another thing that I like about this is it is so my aesthetic. Like the last 2 ones and this one, so the decks that I've shown so far, are all really very much my aesthetics. The next ones aren't really my aesthetics, but and if you want to see my aesthetic video, I did a tag video, so if you want to respond to that one, it's hashtag my tarot aesthetics. I'll link that video in the description box and in the cards as well. But and I don't know, when something is your aesthetic, it feels like it's so much more easier, or more okay, sure, it's so much easier to read with it and to get accurate readings with it. And this is one of those decks. Like, this is quite a chunky deck. Like, this is quite a chunky big deck. And I can't like riffle shuffle it. I have very, like my hands are pretty difficult. I have some, I don't know if I want to call it chronic pain. It's pretty much pain that's been going on for, I don't know, 4 years or something like that. But in my shoulder, and it's gone all the way through my thumb, so I can't really use my hands correctly. So, yeah, I'll also always say that I have mobility issues in my hands. But the cards are slippery enough for me to shuffle it. Like, this is not a review of this deck. This is just you telling... This is not a review of the deck. This is just me telling you that this is definitely one of my classic decks. I love it. I reach for it a lot. I like it for client readings, love readings, career readings. It basically can do anything. It's definitely like a workhorse deck. Now on to deck number 4. There's still like a cleaning truck outside of my house. I'm just gonna ignore it. I hope you can too. This is my Magical Dogs tarot deck. And this is definitely one that sort of snuck up on me I love this. I put this on front. This is a Rottweiler, and she looks so much like the dog of my in-laws. So I earlier this week I grabbed this deck and I showed my boyfriend a picture of this dog, and we both think it looks like the dog that his parents have. So this is a deck. I would say this is a dog. Like, I love dogs. I love dog energy. I connect to dog energy so much. I feel like, look at that. There are so much emotions. You can show emotions in dogs so well. Like, I am not a cat person. I like cats, okay? If they like me, I can like, no, I like all cats, but I can appreciate them even more when they like me too. And I feel like with dogs, they almost always like me. I'm very much a dog person. I don't know how much I have to emphasize that. But there is so much emotion that you can show with dogs, and like in their entire body language. It's amazing. So that is what makes me connect with this deck so much. And sometimes I feel like I take this deck for granted, even though I talk about it on my channel quite often. But and it seems so silly, like a deck that is about dogs, and that is a classic deck for me. But it is, because whenever I grab this, I get such, I don't want to say profound readings, but just very to the point, accurate, and very emotive. Like, this is definitely a water energy deck for me, even though dogs and animals, you would think that they would lean a little bit more earth, but I don't know, I'm just so emotionally connected to dogs that this definitely feels like a water energy deck for me. Though the other ones that I just showed you, especially the Dreamway and the Tattoo Tarot, have more like air energy to me, and the White Newman has more of that earthy energy to me. Which is funny because the next deck has more of that fire energy to me, but I will show you that in a bit. So I didn't even choose them that way, but apparently I do have elemental deck like variety in my classics. So yeah, I love this mostly for like personal growth and very personal readings. I recently did a sort of personal growth pick a card reading on my channel. I'll link it in the card, like if it's not full already, and in the description box as well. But I feel like this one, I really like grabbing this for personal growth, personal week ahead, those sorts of readings. Very like those watery, emotive, emotional sort of reading topics. That is when I pick up this deck. So yeah, that is my Magical Dogs Tarot. And then the fifth deck, you know what? No, I'm going to first do my honorable mention. So honorable mention number 1 is one that quite recently got into my collection. Like, this is so weird because I've talked about this before. I got this deck from Vinted. This is secondhand, and I got this because I saw it was like, I don't know, 13 euros or something. I was like, oh, that's fun, a deck for 13 euros. So let me just get it. And then it was on its way to me, and I was like, oh, was this an impulse buy? Was this bad? Should I not have gotten this? But then I got it in. And I looked at all the images and I was like, oh, there's actually a lot of emotion in these cards, and not everything is super happy. Like, it's almost sarcastic, this almost feels sarcastic, because it's like there's so much confetti and fun stuff, but there's also a heart being stabbed by 3 wooden swords. So it doesn't feel like it's overly happy to me, even though it is called the Happy Tarot. And this deck called me out last week. I had a pretty tough week last week, and in the beginning of the week I pulled some cards from this deck, and it pretty much told me like that there's a big chance that I was gonna get a super low point this week, but that everything that I will get like new insights to go about my whatever I'm doing after that. And then last week I had my assessment from my internship, and I failed it. And that was really tough and really confronting. And, you know, I'm trying not to cry about it. But I feel like this deck sort of predicted it, but it also sort of wanted me to know that everything will be fine, and it will be. And yeah, so there are some personal stuff that I could talk about in this video, but I feel like this is a tag that is going to be seen by a lot of people. Maybe, hopefully, so I don't want to get too personal, but maybe if I do like monthly show and tell, I will definitely talk about more personal stuff. But yeah, so there was already some hard-hitting readings that I had with this deck. And it's like, it laughs at you while it calls you out. And it sort of feels sarcastic, and that is really my energy. I love that. I love like self-deprecating humor, but not in a way that you actually believe the bad things that you're telling yourself, you know, if that makes sense. Another thing that I love about this deck is the shuffle. So yeah, the reason that this is slowly becoming my classic deck is because I feel like it's so easy to read with this deck. I want to pull it out often, like not after last week, I'm not gonna lie, because it called me out and I'm not really happy about it, but I think it's a good thing because it tells me that my interpretations with this deck are accurate. And I don't know, I do enjoy, like, I am feeling the energy when I'm holding this deck and when I'm flipping through it, I'm feeling the energy. So slowly becoming a classic. It is unbelievable. They usually do like the cleaning and the hedge trimming all on Mondays, and today is Wednesday, and now they're doing it on Wednesday when I'm trying to film. So yeah, you know, you can't just ever like get a nice quiet time to film. But yeah, it's never really nice and quiet in my head too, so I guess it makes sense. Anyway, the second honorable mention is the Good Karma Tarot deck, and this is the only tarot deck that I keep with a crystal, which is my Golden Healer crystal. And this is an honorable mention because I have really not been using this deck up until this month, because I chose it for my March decks. And wow, I have been absolutely loving these. The readings that I've done with this, I did a reading with this for my upcoming week and for my decision on my internship and what the hell I have to do right now, now that I've filled the assessment. And it wasn't gentle, it was sort of gentle, it was like empowering is the right word. It's not necessarily gentle, but it was empowering, and I felt empowered, and it didn't like give me a decision that I had to make, but it gave me enough guidance where I was like, yeah, I know what the right decision is. And I appreciate that so much. And I think, yeah, I use this for a couple of week ahead readings for my podcast as well. If you want to listen to my podcast, again, cards, description, wherever. It's like a weekly forecast through the cards and astrology. So, and I use this one, and I feel like it's so easy to interpret. I didn't really feel like looking at any card meanings, I have like a cheat sheet that I'll show you in a little bit. And or the book. I do still want to read the book because I think I can get some nice energy out of it. But yeah, the Good Karma, and I love yellow, you guys. I love yellow. So this is such an incredibly nice prize, and I can't wait to just keep working with it, or I'm just so excited to keep working with it. Okay, the opening of this bag is just like, it fits like exactly. Like I need to make it a new bag. But yeah, that is the Good Karma Tarot as my second honorable mention. So now let's get into deck number 5, and that is my Afro Avatar Tarot. And this one is the first indie deck that I ever got. Currently I have 3 indie decks, and this was the first. So the box is not great, but because it is like the experience that I got with getting this deck and the anticipation that I had up until getting this deck, and it is not available right now. The creator, what is her name? I think it's Nydia or Nydia, from coloredafros.com or Colored Afros Art on Instagram. And I love the series of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I've also watched The Legend of Korra. It took me 2 tries, I guess, to get into that show, but in the end, I love it. And I am getting goosebumps right now. I literally looked at this earlier this week because that is what I do with this deck. I grab it to just look at the images and to flip through it and to look at the images. And there is not too much detail, but there's enough detail to really get you to look at the cards individually and to be really, how do I want to say, I don't know what the word is, just it piques your interest. It catches your eye, so to say. This is one of my classic decks because I love the show Avatar, and I love how the creator did the Avatar thing into the tarot, because I think Avatar and the structure of the elements, it lends itself perfectly for a tarot deck. So I'm super excited that she did it because I absolutely love her artwork. It's definitely not like my aesthetics, because she did a combination of, like, these look like pictures and then this is very much drawn. So she does a combination of that collage sort of thing, but it doesn't look or feel too collage. It's not like the Muse Tarot collage. So I love her art style. I love her artwork. It's absolutely gorgeous. Most of these are characters from the show, and then some of them are more original characters. Look at that. I love that. And this one, I didn't know what this was, but it is the clock. I think it is the clock in the library that went under, that we can see in the Tower card, where they calculated when the next, I think, solar eclipse is going to be. I'm never really great with those English terms, but when the solar eclipse is going to be and when they have to defeat the Fire Nation, the Fire Lord. So this is really like, it was a complete shift in their journey. Their journey just went a totally different route because of what they saw in the calendar. And I love that for the Wheel of Fortune. So you can, I'm getting goosebumps again. You can get so like an extra layer of meaning from the show, what you know of the show, and put it into the tarot cards. Look at this, a cabbage man. It's so sad. Then we have Katara. I love this. Boomy. Oh, I love, and this might be my favorite card, Sokka and Momo in the desert. Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this is not a deck that I use for readings super often, like not readings that I write down, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, what is the energy that I need to channel tomorrow or today? And then I will pull a card or two. And that is sort of what I use it for. Just when I don't know, honestly, I grab this deck more because I want to grab it than I grab this because I want to do a reading and I'm just grabbing this to do a reading. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, and this is definitely one that I am very greedy with, because I don't really use this deck for other people, for readings with other people. Maybe I've done a reading with this deck on my channel before, but I mostly do readings for myself with it. And I absolutely love it. So that is my Afro Avatar tarot deck. And those were the 5 classic decks. Let me see if I can sort of get them in frame. Yeah, sure, let's go with this. These are the 5 my classics, including the 2 honorable mentions. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Now let me show you the cheat sheet that I talked about, because this is now a free downloadable PDF, and you can get it in A4 as well as US letter size. So I've made 2 versions, and you can download the PDF on my Ko-fi shop or my coffee shop, and I'll link that in the description box below. That is also where you can book a personal one-on-one tarot reading with me. And I have the this one is an older version, by the way, because right now in the version that I am gonna upload, it has the ace through including the court cards and then the major arcana on the front. So it is structured a little bit differently. I'll put it on the screen for you, but that is what it looks like. I love the sort of lilac color. I feel like it's easy on the printer too. And if you want to print it black and white or black and gray or whatever, you can do that too. If you want to see more videos on tarot chats, flip throughs, pick a card readings, all that stuff, definitely subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you here. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, like I said, you can either do that through my coffee page or my Etsy shop. Links are in the description. But for now, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your tarot deck classics are. And I'm definitely going to take a look through the hashtag to watch other people's videos. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!